computer? Okay. If you guys could click on your end so that it doesn't, okay, that's fine. Okay, so last month, and if you weren't here with us last month, I do have a recording of that. We did shame, and shame was like the lowest vibration or energetic log on the map of consciousness, which was developed by David Hawkins. And I was thinking about going up the scale, but grief really sort of hit me today. I don't know. I was sort of pulled to do grief. So I'm going to do grief. And it's still under the survival paradigm sort of list in here. So that's why we're doing grief. So here I am. Okay. So like I said before you guys got in here, you are going to be needing like a notebook and a pen and something lightweight, like a ball, your small ball or a pair of socks or a figurine. Just and I am recording, and so you can replay this later. And only I can show up on the video because I just pinned myself. And this is a group session, which means that like when I'm asking you to answer things, you're going to be muting yourself. So I would recommend if you're not in a private space to move to a place where no one else can hear you. Um, so my goal today is to bring, shift, or change, or diminish, or bring to neutral, um, like an issue that has to do around the area of grief. And I'm going to, I guess my website you can go. There's a lot of science about how Cognomovement works. And I'm gonna go ahead and act like all of you are new to Cognomovement. So
Just so you know, it's just me and Kat now. I'm not sure what happened to.
oh yeah, she's driving and she says she's gonna come back in.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you for letting me know that. Yeah, she before you came in, she said she's driving and she's gonna be disconnecting and reconnecting. Yeah. Okay. So what we're gonna do is you're gonna get your notebook out and I'm gonna be reading some um different types of losses that you might have experienced. And if something comes to mind, I just want you to write it down and like a one word answer. Like, for example, if I say death of a loved one, you might just want to write that person's name. If I say death of a pet, you might want to write that pet's name. So, and if it applies in any way, if there's nothing, like if I say divorce and you've never been divorced, then don't write anything down, obviously. So if it doesn't apply to you, just ignore it. At the end, we're going to pick like the top three that you want to work on today and to bring like shift and change to those three things. All right, so I'm
What
going to go through a list. Anybody have a question before I
I
continue?
I do. Could you, for example, like divorce? I mean, my parents aren't divorced, but I'm just wondering, like something like that.
Hmm.
It's not yours, but if you resonate with it, like if it affected you or whatever, like if, let's say your parents divorced and it affected you, could you use that?
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, hi, Dimitri.
Hi.
Hi, beautiful. So, we're gonna need a pen and a paper, and today we're working on grief. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read a bunch of different losses that one might have experienced, and you are gonna just on your paper write down if any of these apply to you. You're gonna write one word that will remind you of that. So, for example, if I say death of a pet and you do have you know that has a you remember you have that in your life, you've had that in your past, then you write your pet's name, sort of just sort of like quickly remind you of that loss. And you're going to write it. And then at the end, we're just going to sort of um, find the top three that we want to work on today. All right. So I'm going to run through them. Okay. The first one is death of a loved one, and you can make a list or write their names down. You're just doing these on a paper. I would suggest like doing a little bullet point and then writing their name. And then another bullet point if it's a separate person, you just write down those bullet points. And I'm going to move through these a little bit kind of fast because I do have a long list and I do want to spend most of the time on the session. So, death of a pet, write the pet's name or one pet, many pets. Divorce, and Kat had an excellent question. If it's, your divorce or your parents' divorce, doesn't matter. You can write divorce or parents. Infertility, miscarriage, loss of a child, serious illness, decline in health. You're just writing it down so you remember it. However you want to write it down. One word sentence. One word is probably enough, or two. Loss of a job, retirement, loss of identity or purpose related to that. Financial hardship, loss of a home, moving away from a beloved place, loss of a community or support network, loss of friendship, estranged from family. I mean, if that is exact issue, you can just go ahead and write that. Loss of cultural or spiritual connection, loss of faith or religious belief, and I'm sorry if I'm going a little bit fast. The list is pretty long. End of a dream or life goal, loss of independence, natural disaster, destroying possessions or home, loss of safety or security, such as trauma or crime, war, displacement, or becoming a refugee, loss of a sense of identity through like gender role shifts. Example, that is an example. Retirement from sports or artistic career, death of a public figure or an icon, loss of privacy, empty nest, breaking in trust, such as betrayal, infidelity, deception, loss of innocence, such as after abuse, trauma, or shocking events, end of an era, loss of hope for the future, aging parents, declining in health, losing sentimental possessions, changing roles in relationships. There's a couple more. Loss of a business or a project, existential grief, such as grieving impermanence, mortality, or the state of the world. All right, so those are lists. And I want you to just sort of
Can you say the last one again?
existential grief, grieving impermanence, mortality, or the state of the world. You know, like if you're, I can think of my mom watching the news and just like getting, just getting overwhelmed. Right. So, just glance over your list. I'm hoping maybe if your list is on one page, it might be easier. Just glance over it and read it over.
I had some overlaps, like,
Yeah, that's good. That's
all
fine.
right, okay.
Our body is going to indicate which ones of these we're going to be working on. So I want you to just really pay attention to your physical reaction, and they're going to be subtle to reading these. So as you read them, and Kathy did a wonderful, like if you mute yourself, you can outright read them and sort of see how your body reacts to them. And just put like, 3 stars next to the ones that your body really kicks up something. And if you don't, if that's confusing, feel free to unmute and ask for further clarification. But your body should kick up, like have a reaction. You might have some of the reactions might be like a feeling of tightness or like in your chest or heaviness. You might feel a lump in your throat. Um, there might be like this feeling in the pit of your stomach when you read it. So any of these feelings that as you're reading them, I would circle those and emphasize those. So our goal here is to kind of pick the top 3 things that you would like to work on today.
And how does it work if there were
Overlaps?
some overlaps? Yeah.
Um, well, I would pick the one you're saying the overlap in terms of content.
Well, like, betrayal, infidelity, loss of innocence, divorce were all my ex.
Okay. So then just put X and that would be your topic.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Do we and like use his name or just say X or
Yeah.
doesn't matter?
Yeah, because what you're gonna do when we start the session, you're going to tell the story out loud of your ex. And that will be the binding. With Cogno, it doesn't if that's it doesn't really matter. Like the specifics are not that important. The most important thing is your reaction to it and really connecting to your reaction and allowing the feelings to come through.
Okay, and is it more about that, well, like in this example, more about that person or more about the grief of that brought that name?
Your storytelling is going to lead
Okay.
you to what is the most salient issue at the moment. So, the fact that it all was surrounding one issue, then we're going to be working on the X right now,
Okay.
regardless of whether that is heavily grief or heavily anger or whatever else. So you understand, like that was just an in point. All of these are just in points to get to the thing that is taking up the most amount of space right now.
Okay. And also too, in overlap too, like I could fit in there my mom also, my
Mhm.
mom and my sister for some of them. So,
Mhm. Yeah.
okay.
And it might all like kind of be very sinuous. It might not be that nice and neat. And we're
Okay.
going to allow that to happen.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick one thing, and we are going to be telling the story of that one thing. And we're going to be telling the story of that one thing over and over and over again, and really being in our body while we're doing it. And the important thing with Cogno, Elena's rejoining us. The important thing with Cogno is to just allow any and all feelings that you're feeling to come through without any judgment. And we're also not going to analyze anything. So with Cogno, we don't analyze anything. There's no analysis. Like I'm not going to sit here and we're not going to so don't use that part of your brain. We're just going to really tune into the feelings because we're going to give voice to the feelings. And that's a really important part of cognitive movement. Okay. So I have my object and this is my cognitive movement ball. Um, you can use any object. I've had like stuffed animals, or this is something Nora painted, something lightweight that you're gonna need to hold. So whatever it is that you have, and at this point, if you don't have anything, you can even use a pen. It's really not that important. So I'm gonna hold my ball, and I'm gonna hold my ball in the low position, which is I'm sitting straight up in my chair, and my legs are at 45-degree, and I'm gonna hold the object down between my legs. And you might want to mute yourself because I'm going to have you talk. So I think my Dimitri, you might want to mute yourself. So you're going to hold your object on the low position, and you're going to start without doing anything. You're going to keep your head straight, and your eyes are going to look down. With the eyes are going to be open. They're not going to be closed. You're going to look down towards your body, and that forces your nervous system to really focus in on the body. And I want you to pick one of one of your stories, or one of your points, and I want you to just start telling me the story about it, or telling yourself the story out loud about it. And don't fret about it being perfect. You just start telling the story as if you were a toddler, and you're just letting it all out. And I want you to really focus in on your body. What part of your body sort of starts responding to it? You might have a clenched stomach, your throat might tighten up. So start telling your story. Keep your eyes forward, keep your eyes looking down. You're now telling your story. You're hearing it. And what part of your body kind of lights up first? Let's say my issue is divorce. I'll just keep saying the word divorce, divorce. That might help to find out what part of your body really kind of like clenches, or tightens, or sort of comes alive. And pay attention to that. And you're going to write it down, like um, stomach or throat or right toe. Doesn't matter. There is no right or wrong. Just pay attention to it. And now I want you to pay attention when you're telling the story. How intense is it? Like when you think about it, you're standing there in that moment, you're telling that story. When you think about it, how intense is it? 10 is you're awake at night worrying about it, and 0, not a care in the world. Give it a number. How intense is this issue? Okay, so now you know where it is in your body, and now you know a number. And if you need to, you might want to write it down so you don't forget. All right, so now we're going to start with, I'm gonna keep my glasses on because I need to be reading what I have written, but you're gonna take your glasses off and not yet. I want you to look at me first. Sorry. You are going to be moving the ball in the path of an infinity, laying down. And I'm gonna draw it for you so that you understand because um so this is a number 8, the infinity, and you're gonna move the ball in this path around your face within about 7 or 8 inches from your face, like this. And the goal is to do it as slow as possible and to follow the object with your eyes as you're telling me the story of that first issue that you'd like to deal with. Okay? Okay, ready? So you picked your issue. If you have a question, you feel free to unmute right now and ask me because we're gonna get started. Anyone have a really like itchy question right now? All right. Okay. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna tell the story out loud of this issue, and it could be a grief issue or like our first question that we had there, that it might actually be an issue that combines a bunch of other issues, and that's okay. You're just going to start telling the story, and don't worry, your nervous system is going to go right to the spot that is most important. So you're just going to follow the ball and start telling your story. Go ahead. Don't forget to follow the object. Slow down even more. The goal is to get a really good stretch on those eyes. Take a deep breath. Keep telling your story. What else? What else is there? If there's if your story goes somewhere else totally, that's okay. Just tell that. We're not going to judge what's coming out. You're just allowing anything and everything. You're going to keep going. You're doing an excellent job. Your eyes are on the ball. Your head is straight. And your eye is on the ball. Your head is straight. And you're telling the story of this issue out loud. And what's going on right now is your entire nervous system is listening or is being forced to listen, because most of the time when we have an issue, only a small part of our brain is engaged. And when we're moving the ball, what we're doing is we are allowing our entire nervous system to be engaged. If you're done with your story, tell your story one more time. And it might change. Really be in the feeling. If you are angry, be as angry as you are. If you are sad, be as sad as you are. Remember where your body reacted when you talked about your story? Tune in and see if it's in the same spot. Talk about it. Be there. Did it move? Really get stretch in those eyes. And some other thing might come up that has nothing to do with your story, and that's okay. Give it voice as well. Take a deep breath. If you notice your eyes having a hard time with the ball being in a specific place or your eyes trembling, keep it there a little longer and breathe. All right, we're going to take a break. You're going to put the object down and rub your eyes. Okay. What I'm going to have you guys do is if you have space, hopefully. I don't have much space here because I just moved all my art projects in here. But if you have space in your room, I'm going to have you stand up, put your object down, and you're going to walk an infinity on your floor. So you're going to walk the path of an infinity on the ground.
What if there's not enough room where I am?
Oh, really? There's not enough room.
No,
Are
there's
you
a lot
sitting
of
in a
stuff
swivel
here.
chair?
No, I'm not. Uh,
Oh, okay. Well,
well, you know what? I can maybe do it
the
around the
infinity
round
doesn't have
table.
to be the infinity doesn't have to be long or big, or it could just be like a literal nice and tight infinity, you know. Uh,
I'll get dizzy, but I'll try
Okay,
it.
let's try it.
I'm
And
gonna try going around the table. Maybe I can
How
do
many
that.
times? And do we say anything or think
no,
anything? Or
I would just keep your head up and look around you because the infinity, what it does is it's like two U-turns basically, and your eyes do this. Has a really calming effect on your body when you're walking it. So, I can let me see. I have a little bit of space in here, but I have some plugs. But basically, you're just walking number 8 on the ground, and you're keeping your head up as you're looking around. And what it does is your eye, has a really calming effect on your body. I have one in my classroom for my students, an infinity rug. And I'm going to have you guys sit back down and I'm going to have you turn your head to one side and you're going to force a yawn. You might have already been yawning, but you're going to force a yawn by opening your mouth as wide as possible, and then it will cause you to yawn. Ready? Ugh. You're going to do it on the other side. Ugh. All right. Excellent. All right. So what we're going to do is um, I want us to check in again on our body. So you're going to grab your object and again, keep it on the low position and keep your head still, like straight, and your eye facing downward. And I want you to just to check in again on that first issue that we just dealt with, and just again retell the story or parts of the story, and just put yourself in that situation once again. Be there when you talk about it out loud. It helps your mind be there and feel where your body reacts. It might be a different place. Notice if it's in a different place, if it's in the same place. And now let's give it a rating. Again, keep your eyes open, but looking down. Give it a rating. really be in the feeling, and then sort of take a dipstick of where your body is, rating wise. 10 being like you're awake at night thinking about this issue, and 0. All right. Does anybody want to share if there's any changes in their original issue? Um, and just to sort of, I just want to gauge of whether we should continue with this issue or should we choose a different issue? Does anybody want to share out? I'm gonna, I'm gonna wager and say that you guys, if you want to pick a different issue, I mean, since I'm not sure if you guys, if there's has been any sort of changes. Um,
I was gonna say I don't know how well I did the story just because it's hard to concentrate.
mhm.
I don't know if it's
No, okay.
good for like doing
Thank
it with
you.
like silence.
Yes. So it's very important that you tell the story out loud. Um,
But I mean like because
without
I
silence.
was trying to and because you were talking also, so it was
Okay.
kind of
Okay.
like
Thank you for saying
distracting.
that. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I think we should stick to the same story. I mean, if you feel like you could move on because your story has changed. So what I'm going to do is um, I'm going to set a timer and we're going to do the infinity where you tell your story. And I'm going to set a timer for 3 minutes and you're going to tell the story out loud of the same one. Okay. And I wanted you to tell whatever comes to mind, you're going to say it. And you're just going to really tune into your body, especially that part that sort of clenched when you first mentioned it. I really want you to sort of be there, like your entire existence, be in that spot and tell the story. And I'm gonna be more silent for 3 minutes. And I do want you to breathe whenever you feel like your eye is trembling or your eye is having a hard time following the ball. Stay there a little longer and breathe, and then continue to tell the story. And if anything new comes through, you're also going to voice it. Okay, just sort of like let your mind just sort of wonder and see what comes out. But you're going to give voice to anything and everything that comes out. Okay. So I'm going to set a timer for 3 minutes.
Miriam, wait,
Yes.
it's, I'm having a really hard time saying it out loud.
Hmm.
It's just, and I'm sure because of today being today, and, so I don't know,
Can I
it's,
ask a question? Is
yeah,
the hard time saying it out loud is because it's almost too much?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. And it's important that it does come out. So, um,
Well,
it,
it's coming out as, it started coming out as tears, that it's almost like that is, more than, because the words just, I'm just not getting the words.
okay.
Because this is a
So
lot. It's
that's
there,
fine. So
yeah,
what you might want to do is if there's a word that's a salient word that can just that you it's almost like a mantra that you can just say, and then I would let the tears are just as important as the words.
yeah.
So
What do you
I
mean
think
by a salient word?
so if it's a human name, like it's a person's name, you could just say that person's name over and it's sort of like you're trying to get anything and everything that's sort of associated with that expressed.
Okay,
Um, so I think as long as you can see with your eyes, because if you're crying, if you can see and you continue, I think the crying is just as powerful.
okay,
Okay, hon?
okay, thanks.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to give you guys 3 minutes. And remember when you're doing it, all expressions are allowed. Like we just mentioned, crying is even allowed. If you're angry, upset, all of it is allowed. You're not judging yourself in any way. And then the other part is there's no analysis. So you're not going to talk about what you think this is. You're just going to be like a toddler and be like, I am angry, or I'm upset, or I'm sad, like go toddler. No analysis. Okay. All right. I have 3 minutes of silence. I promise. All right. All right. Ready? Let's go. All right, let's take a break. How did was that a little different? That anything different happen in terms of um how much was able to come out?
Yeah, I was able to, I guess, speak more about it. Uh the feeling I had it in like my heart area and it went to my stomach. I don't know what that means,
Where was
but
it originally?
it was on my like by my stomach. I mean my heart area,
Okay.
heart, and it went to like pit of my stomach a little bit, like my navel.
Okay. And
Um,
like the number change at all? Like intensity wise?
um, kind of stayed the same, I guess. But it wasn't too intense to begin with. It wasn't that bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a really quick check-in again. Um, it's really helpful to when you do a session, because usually if I do a session, it's on one thing. So when I do a session, it's on one thing, and then we'll do like several cycles. and just keep sort of checking in with our body and see like where this feeling has moved or changed. It's if it's moving, it means that you're like the energy is changing around it, and cognitive movement keeps working after we're done even. So let's just really do a really quick recheck. So you're bringing the object back down and your head is straight forward and your eyes are looking down. And while you're on mute, you're going to again bring up that issue by talking about it or imagining yourself in that moment or the most salient moment in that issue, and just feel in your body what parts sort of wake up when you think about it or clench or come alive. And then let's give it a quick number, like intensity wise, just sort of check in. All right. So let's stick with the same issue. Because I think it's more powerful to stay with the same issue and just keep working at it. And what we're going to do now is actually you're going to put your object on one hand like this. It doesn't matter which one. And then you're going to take your other hand and you're going to, sorry, it's not the other way. Yeah, this way. Yeah. You're going to cross you're going to use your other hand and cross over and you're going to pinch your ear. And you're going to start with the top of your ear and end at the bottom. And this is what it looks like. You don't have to do it yet. I just wanted to describe it first. You're going to start at the top and it's going to be like the rim or the edge of your ear all the way down. And you're going to pinch and wiggle your ear. And you are going to be following the ball. Hold on a second. Trying to start at the top. That actually following the ball is not going to be that easy. So you're going to be pinching, wiggling, and I want you to you're going to move your eyes from top to bottom, and you're going to tell your story. And you might notice as you're doing that, you're going to tell your story. When you get to the bottom, you always start back up at the top. All right. So I'm going to just do it maybe like a minute where I'm going to give you silence and you're going to start at the top. And your eyes are going to move from top to bottom, top to bottom. And you're going to tell your story. All right. Anybody have a question? All right. All right. So it's very important that you cross over and you're telling your story. And it might sound different this time. Anything that comes up. Ready? You have a minute. All right. Now we're going to cross over and we're going to start. What I want you to try to do now is you're going to just scan your eyes from left to right while you're pinching as you're telling your story. So this is what it's going to look like. It's just going to be a minute. So you're going to start at the top When you end at the bottom, you're going to always start at the top again. Pinch and wiggle, pinch and wiggle, pinch and wiggle, pinch and wiggle. Start at the top again. Pinch and wiggle, pinch and wiggle, pinch and wiggle. And the whole time your eye is going left to right. And don't worry, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just try your best, okay? And we're gonna again tell the story that you chose originally, the one that we've been working on. And you're just gonna go left, right, left, right. Ready? All right, you only have a minute. All right. We're gonna stop. I want to do one last thing before we get to chat for a minute is I know it seems like we didn't do a lot of physical labor, but our brains were doing a lot today. So there's this thing we do that's called the map in, and your object, you're going to be moving it. You're going to watch me first. You're going to move it from left to right, and you're going to keep your head straight. If you're in a swivel chair, please don't swivel. You're just going to stay still, and you're going to look left to right all the way to the top, and you're going to call out the colors you see. So if you have a colorful object, it's best to if you have a colorful object, it's best to rotate it. And if you don't worry about it. I want you to just follow it with your eyes. So like if I have a colorful object, so I'm going to say blue, red, purple, orange, all the way to the top. Purple, green, red. All right. So everyone's doing that. I'm going to start at the bottom. Call out the colors you see. Follow the object with your eyes. Keep your hands on both hands on the object. Go all the way to the top. Excellent. All right. My face is burning. It's like, um, so that was a very short session. Normally they're about an hour and a half for one like issue. Um, let me see if I have any after care stuff. Um, sorry. So if you've never done it before, you might expect some, like you might have a little bit of cramping even sometimes because usually if you've never done it before, like the effects are like a little strong. So you might be really tired. So make sure you sleep well. It might be maybe a little sometimes people experience different things like the runs or mood changes. Within the next couple of days, what it will do is you might notice more energy. You might notice sort of a change in relationships with others, change in relationship with yourself, like your mood might be better. You will definitely sleep well tonight because your brain has done a lot of work today. And you might also notice like your reactivity around this issue or other issues being less. So definitely drink a ton of water. Even if you drink a lot of water already, drink even more. And if you have Himalayan salt, put some in your water or just put some on your hand and have some because it helps with the brain connections. So that's as far as aftercare. And then I would love to hear if there's sort of anything that you have any questions or anything that's come up in the session. Um,
So, so for me, I kind of I don't know, maybe it's because I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the the end result is, so maybe this is why. But like when I was telling it, I felt like tired of saying it. I almost kind of felt like I wanted to get it over with, and I didn't feel like it resonated with me as much anymore. Like I felt
Mhm.
like I don't know, it felt it I don't know, it just felt like it wasn't like I was over it kind of thing.
Hmm.
That's a good thing, right?
Yeah,
Is
it
that
does bring you closer to neutrality. Like
yeah,
this is sort of when you do it, when you do it, it's supposed to bring you closer to, like the higher vibrations. So this being like the neutral right here, as far as like, um,
I'm
so
actually
today,
surprised that courage is lower.
yeah, I know.
I
Maybe
would think
courage
it's like
opens the
really high.
door for you to be able to speak your truth and be, you know,
Yeah,
it's kind of interesting, courage and then shame. I love the fact that shame is way at the bottom. It's like I would always think
yeah.
like anger or, I don't know, some other thing would be down at the bottom, but shame, it's kind of interesting.
I guess because those four are like really heavy on the heart, I guess like shame, guilt, empathy, that's like almost the
Yeah.
same. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I always think it's shame is at the bottom because you deny yourself completely, you know?
Yeah, and you're like kind of beating yourself
You're
up
not, yeah, you're
also.
not you
Yeah.
anymore. Like you're not fully in yourself or whatever.
Yeah. But
Um,
yeah, I got closer, I guess, to neutrality. It was more like
yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
lower, and then it definitely I felt like and kind of acceptance, yeah, like kind of like neutrality and just kind of like
Yeah, that's the reason. Well, for me, it's been really helpful because I'm very up and down. Like you guys have never seen me that way, but I'm very like very high and very low. Like when I'm really
hmm
high, like things are amazing, and then when I'm really low, you won't see me. Like you won't see me. Like you won't hear from me. Because I don't know what to do with myself. And it's like it's almost like you don't know what to it became like insoportable, like I don't know what to do with it. And
yeah,
um and it was unbearable, like that feeling. So what Cogno did for me was bring me more to neutral, and I don't actually get to those low lows at all anymore. So
yeah.
that's, I mean, I would say like saved my sanity, saved my marriage. That's for sure, you know. Because it's not an easy thing. I mean, to experience something like that. And I don't really trust people, so I have trust issues. So then, like, who do you
Yeah.
turn to? So it's kind of a nice
But that, I mean,
relationship.
I don't know the result of Cogno, but actually kind of makes sense 'cause if you tell the story, like I forgot there was a experiment or something. Like if, oh, like a joke. Like if you tell a joke, it's funny. If you keep telling the same joke over and over and over, it gets like boring after a while. It just gets like, okay, enough kind of thing. So maybe that's the thing that if you keep telling the story over and over and over, maybe that's the point that it's just like you don't have feeling anymore to it. I don't know.
Yeah, and also every part of your brain is actually engaged. Like they've done,
Yeah.
I mean, I could send you the science behind it, but they've done like like they've looked at the brain while it's happening. And because you're moving your eyes everywhere, you're actually activating all the parts of your brain. So
hmm
all parts of your brain are actually engaged. So it's almost like a wiser version of you is looking at the problem versus the very smaller part of your brain that's like looking at it.
Yeah, it was so hard not to analyze. It was funny because I started trying to be like, oh, I think that's because of this, and
Yeah.
I'm like,
My
don't
clients do
let,
that a
and I'm like,
lot. Like when I'm working on them, they're always like, maybe I'll do this. Maybe I do this because I'm like, no, no, we're not doing that. Like, and it's actually very relieving for me as a practitioner, but also for them because it means that like you just have to do the movements and then like change happens without you having to really like sit there and try to puzzle together like why this is happening or intellectualize
yeah,
it.
yeah. I think my higher self just comes in, I think, and just like says stuff like I without me even realizing. I'm like, wait,
It's funny.
I don't really think it just comes out.
Well, I would be
Yeah.
interested to hear, like, in the next couple of days, you will notice, like, it just continues to work, you know? Um, so just sort of like tune in and see how you feel about it in the next couple of days, or, and And also those other subjects that you circled, you can go ahead and do this same session with those other issues, and see how that
Mhm.
changes.
Okay, thank you.
Anyway, anyone else?
I also kind of came to terms with my issue like a little more on the reflective side. It wasn't like a why is this happening? It was just more of like a how can I deal with it better?
Hmm. So um you came to like a new understanding about it?
Yeah.
Hmm. That makes sense because like it does like again it engages like let's say you were just thinking about this issue through the your left brain or something, and now like your creative brain is engaged and it's sort of chiming in,
Mhm.
and also don't be surprised if like you're in bed and like you're waking up and all of a sudden you have like an amazing new insight about the issue. Because um it's like working even when you're sleeping and all of a sudden you wake up and you have like a new understanding about it. It's really kind of neat,
Yeah.
you know. But and Kathy, thank you so much for mentioning that, about words, and I think that's very important to acknowledge that even crying and like, I've had clients who like come and like all they're doing is screaming, like that's an expression. Um, and how much the body wants to express it, like it's like until it's expressed, it's until it's expressed, no healing can really take place.
Almost felt like it needed to be expressed through or out of my body before the words would even
Hmm.
come, or that words just couldn't express it because it just felt like too much in
Yeah.
my body. Yeah.
I almost think of it as like I've had one example like that with my own body when I've done it, and it was I was doing a training. I think I told you this one already. So I'm getting older. I can tell stories 5 times to my friends, and you're gonna listen to it. So so I was at the training in San Diego, and we were doing those sessions to each other, and it was my turn to be the patient or the client, and the woman said something and it just triggered like tears because she said something like, you always doubt yourself. You got it right, and but you always doubt yourself. And I was like, whoa, that was hard, and I was like, wah, and I have a thing about crying in front of other people. Like ever since I
Mhm.
was little, like my face always gets like beet red, like it gets blotchy. And so I got really embarrassed and I said, no, 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 I can't do this right now. And um, Liz Larson, who's the creator of Cogno, she was like, "Excuse me?" She was like, "No, no, 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 no." She's like, "It's on its way out. You're gonna sit here and if you feel embarrassed, go outside, you know." So she had us both go outside, and the woman started the whole session again with me and like let me just because it felt like it was here,
Mhm.
like it was almost too big to come
Yeah.
out. And so that's why it was scary because it's like, I don't know, it's like a emotional constipation, it's like, ugh, so it's like it was over here. And so then when you did the session, it came out in tears, and then afterwards it felt so much better, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's interesting that so there's a dog and a cat here, and the dog is very skittish, and but I mean I've been here for a week and she knows me and every time that I'm with her she gets a little better, and I'm higher energy than her mommy, and so when we were doing it, she kept coming over and sniffing the ball. It was, and usually it's like when there's any movement, she just goes away because movement scares her. She kept sniffing the ball, and then when I was crying and doing it, she came to the other side and she licked my leg. She hasn't done that, and then she came up on my leg, like, what's going on? And the cat was behind me purring, even though I wasn't touching him. So it was almost like it was just too much for me. And so many things, like there wasn't one story. There was like so many stories, like this is this and then this and cause that, like a domino effect. And it was almost like they were like, here, we'll take some, we'll
Yeah,
take some of this.
that's
'Cause
exactly what I just thought.
yeah.
That's what animals do.
Yeah, and that's what Jesse,
They're
yeah,
here to
Jesse used
absorb.
to do. Yep.
Mm.
And so yeah, so that was nice. And it's funny because the cat acts more like a dog and the dog acts more like a cat. They're really funny. Like the cat stays near me always, and he's right here,
Mhm.
and the dog like just goes. So the dog doesn't usually stay around. So it was interesting too that she stayed around me when I was, sitting doing this. Bye, Dimitri. So yeah, that was a big. I'm glad now that I was here. I was like, oh, I don't know about being here and doing Cogno, but I had to, schedule wise. Dimitri, did you want to talk quick before you need to go?
You wanna?
Okay. Okay. Bye bye. Um. Um. But yeah, that so it was. So I'm glad that I was here and not at home, because it felt like so much during it. Like, why am I even here? Why am I doing this? This is just too much today. And
Mm.
a lot came in because I still don't have contact with my mom and sister, and I just can't. And my brother had texted me. He plays drums in a Christian rock band, and he was playing not too far from me, and he invited me in June to go, and it's hard sometimes for me to go to these things and listen to the words because it's just not my beliefs, but I wanted to support him, and being that today is the 5-year anniversary of my dad dying, and so I got to see him for a couple minutes, so it just felt like so much during this session, so I'm glad that the animals really sensed
Yeah,
it. They were like, we'll help. We'll
just
let
like
us
you were
take
meant
some.
to be there tonight.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I had to get here before dark to take the dog out. She won't go out after dark, and so yeah, yeah, was.
Mm. Yeah, and I feel bad that it's a short session because um
No, I wouldn't have been able to handle a long one. There, yeah, no, no. In fact, at one point, my behind my right ear hurt, my right eye hurt so bad. It's like, I'm dropping off. I'm like, no, you can do this, Kath. And
drink a lot of water and you are gonna sleep well. And
yeah,
yeah, just drink a lot of water.
yeah. I already have been through it,
Yeah.
as you saw that. Yeah, and I got my great big water bottle here. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, yeah, I don't it's just been doing so many it helps me in so many ways.
Mhm.
Just managing. And I don't know, I wish everyone would would use it. I wish I could use it on my students. I do use it on my students.
You kind of do. I
I
mean,
have
with
the
the
infinity
infinity,
rug,
yeah.
and then
I
I
gotta
actually
get one.
do a ball thing with them where we set an intention for the classroom. But you know,
Oh.
yeah. But
Teach it to the nurse. Teach it to the nurse in the school that maybe then when kids go down there or get sent down.
oh gosh, oh, I'm not going to say anything about my nurse, but
Okay, never mind.
just we move
Yeah, I
forward.
was. Yeah, I was a nurse's aide in the school district
No,
for a short time. That yeah, they didn't
not
like.
all nurses are like
No,
your nurse.
right, right. Yeah.
But you guys are amazing. Thank you so much. I hope this was
Thank you,
a
Miriam.
good
Thank you, Miriam.
sort of a if you guys have any questions later on, please do email me. Um, you know, yeah. And I would love to hear if you have any other results later on, any movements or for me, it's also like on a spiritual level, it's also gets me closer to 5D. And the way that I can explain that is that I have if I do it every day, like I have, and I've explained this before in other sessions, like I have synchronicities all the time. Like it is so my theory behind that is that it's like we are filters, like our bodies are filters, and that in clearing, like what doing the cogno clears that filter, and then the synchronicities is just a sign that we're like living at a higher vibration. So that's my theory. So I don't know how you feel about it, but I like the more that I do it, the more I feel like I'm living almost in a higher timeline or like a different timeline.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
very cool. But anyway, ladies,
Thank you, honey.
thank you. I could be with you guys all night. But I'm so exhausted. But Chris and I have this The Wire we'll watch. We watch The Wire.
What is The
I heard that was
Wire?
good though.
Yeah,
It's a
from the
TV show. I heard it
90s.
was good though.
Some series. It's just like series.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right. But I'm gonna send you guys if you want this recording so you can do it again if you want with the other things. Let me just stop it now, actually. I almost hung up on you guys.